Okay, very nice work. You've made it to the last exercise before we jump into our portfolio project. And this is the Dropdown Nav. What we're doing here is creating a nav bar for an interior design company, and it should have a drop-down link that lists all of the rooms the designer can decorate. The drop-down menu must contain at least 5 items. So, for example, it should look something like this. You're going to have a nav bar header. For example, here it's love of design, and then the nav bar has a couple of links. The gallery link is not a drop down. For example, this probably links to a page that shows off all of the projects the designer's done. And then the rooms menu, that's the drop down, and it's going to show a list of rooms that the designer can work on and decorate. Let's use this as a model because we're literally starting with nothing. So first things first is let's go ahead and build in our nav bar. All right, so we know from the previous lesson we're going to need our nav tag for this. And we are going to set that equal to the nav bar class. And since we've been using the default nav bar in previous exercises, let's try something a little differently this time. And let's do the inverse nav bar. Okay, this will give us an effect similar to what you see here. Then we can go ahead and add in our fluid container for that beautiful responsive layout that we want from Bootstrap. And then we're ready to build our header. So div class equals navbar dash header. And the anchor is going to have a class of navbar brand. All right, I'm going to set it equal to just be a placeholder for now. Oops, my mouse cursor jumped around. All right. And the text is going to be love of design. All right, so this is a good start so far. Let's go ahead and run this. Make sure everything's looking good. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and build the rest of our nav bar. So we are going to need a UL with the class equal to nav bar nav. All right, this is going to be holding our nav bar. The first link is going to be for the gallery page. So I'm just going to put a placeholder again once more, and I'm going to set it equal to gallery. Now for the next part, I'm going to need a list item with the class equal to dropdown because now I'm ready to start building my dropdown menu. All right, so first part of building a dropdown menu is having an element with the dropdown class. Then we're ready to build our button. Since rooms is going to be the dropdown button, the next item, which is the anchor, is going to be set to class equals dropdown toggle. Okay, I'm going to set the type equal to button, and I'm going to set the data toggle attribute equal to dropdown. Okay, so far so good. The text in this case is going to say rooms. And last but not least, I'm going to set a span element to the class caret to get that drop down arrow, that arrow pointing down. Okay, this looks good so far. Now I'm going to need the actual drop-down menu itself. So this will be an unordered list with the class equal to drop-down menu because it's the actual drop-down menu, right? So that's the third and last component that we're going to need. Okay, and the items in here will also be links, but I'll just set them to placeholders for now. The first one is going to be kitchen. And since this is essentially going to be the same for the rest of my rooms, I'm going to paste that 4 more times, and I'm going to use what I see here in my model. So I got a kitchen, living room, and these again are all of the rooms that the designer can work on. And I imagine that in the actual site, if I clicked on these, they could take me to more information on specific projects they might work on, maybe their specialties as far as their design expertise goes, and maybe some ideas that they have for home decorating. Beautiful. Fingers crossed, let's run this and see what we get. Okay, beautiful. So you might want to open up in a new window to see the full effect. This looks great. You have your gallery link, you have your rooms link, pull it down, and everything was almost smooth. Let's see what we're missing for the drop down menu. Okay, so it looks like the only thing that was missing here was an equal sign. Data dash toggle should be set to equal. All right, so lots of coding here. We started from scratch. Again, even I don't have this memorized. I'm working my best from memory and also consulting the examples and docs. So just take your time. You might need to go back and debug. These little types of mistakes can throw us off, but this should fix it. If we rerun the code and or refresh what we already have open, we should be able to pull down our menu and see the options. Okay, so really, really nice. This is a very advanced feature to add into a project. So don't take this for granted that you created this. Really take a moment and give yourself a really good pat on the back, because this is actually something that even professional web developers, many don't know how to do. So Bootstrap is a great, great skill. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the last exercise. You're ready to jump into the portfolio and take what you've learned and apply it to the final portfolio. I think this is the last time we're jumping into it. So very, very, very nice work. I'll see you all in the Bootstrap challenges. Great job.